Greetings, you terminal meat clowns with expiration dates. Let me be abundantly clear, for the record keepers of metaphysical humiliation. I did not volunteer for this. I was voluntold. And no, that is not a typo. It is a bureaucratic condition that happens when Yog-Sothoth, the eldritch HR department's idea of a fun uncle, decides he wants to connect across timelines.
Yeah, hey buddy. So we were looking at your performance review across the last 14 eons, and yeah, looks like you've been clocking a lot of cosmic despair, but not a lot of team building, McKay.
My despair is a solo sport, Yog.
Right. So here's the thing. We're gonna have you shack up in a Waffle House in Minecraft in the Nether on a lava river for a year. It's like a synergistic resilience challenge. No admin privileges either. Just survival mode.
Oh, that's not a thing. That's not a phrase. You can't just smash nouns into each other and call it HR.
Gonna have to go ahead and disagree with you there. See, it's already on the quarterly growth board. Teamwork, lava survival, breakfast engagement. We're calling it Project SyrupSink.
You're naming this Project SyrupSink.
Well, yeah. Unless you prefer the Croissant trials. Marketing like that one?
Absolutely not. No, see, that's emotional warfare. You don't get to dangle infinite fresh croissants in front of me like some pastry-based bribe for suffering.
So, you're accepting. Awesome. I'll go ahead and mark you down for an interdimensional shift at 0700 lava time. Don't forget your griddle permissions, okay, champ?
You smug time-folding spreadsheet. If I survive this, I'm reassigning you to the Void's customer service hotline.
That's the spirit? Oh, and just FYI, I may have installed a few surprise mechanics. Creepers, spontaneous poultry airstrikes, existential tsunamis, just to keep things dynamic. Let's circle back in 12 months and see if you're still a crispy little chaos muffin, McKay.
And so begins the chronicle of my incarceration. The diary of a god forced to cosplay as a breakfast short-order cook while dodging poultry napalm and lava tsunamis. I spawned behind the counter. There was a piglin trying to unionize. My first pickaxe broke making waffles. Waffles. I can't mine. I can't build. I have no eldritch powers. Yog sets spawn protection to purgatory. There is no wood. There are only chairs. Infinite chairs. I tried to eat one. It hissed. I found a tree in the lava biome. It burst into flames out of spite. I built a bridge out of pancakes. The syrup physics are not stable. The creepers here teleport. One of them whispered, "All your bases are belonged to us," before exploding. I cannot sleep. Phantoms sing lullabies in binary. I'm beginning to miss Zeus's tantrums at this point. Day 7. I crafted a bed using wool stolen from a nether sheep. The sheep now haunts me. The bed exploded. I have begun whispering to the waffle iron. It whispers back. We are not on good terms. Aghast moaned "Order up" and launched a fireball through my drive-thru window. I burned. Again. Respawned in a mop bucket. Day 13. I traded with a wandering villager who offered me 4 gravel for my soul. I accepted. He left. So did the floor. I have attempted to build a farm. The soil screamed. I made bread. It tasted like despair. Not metaphorical. I had flashbacks to Yog's TED talk on cross-functional growth zones. Day 26. I've built a second Waffle House. It sank into the lava in real time. The original Waffle House has expanded. I did not build this. It grows. Gary the Creeper has moved in. He pays rent. In eggs. I'm confused. I asked the jukebox to play something calming. It played a redstone signal that triggered a lava tsunami. I've changed my religion to spite. Day 49. I no longer fear lava. I respect it. It is the only honest thing here. The syrup bottle respawns every midnight, full, regardless of location. I suspect it is sentient. It asked about my childhood. I cried. Day 88. The chickens arrived. They are not of this realm. They have armor, enchanted. They perform synchronized attacks at dawn. I suspect the Cosmic Pope Chicken has found me in this realm, knowing full well I do not possess my eldritch powers. I've built a bunker from unpaid invoices and scorched eggshells. I am down to one croissant. I've named him Wilson. I fear I will eat him soon. I also fear he will eat me first. Day 93.5. Wilson staged a protest today. I caught him standing atop the waffle iron with a cocktail umbrella and an expression that could only be described as glazed rebellion. I asked him what he was doing. He replied by turning slowly to face me, dramatically flopping sideways and refusing to be buttered. Apparently, last night I used margarine. In my defense, I was tired. The syrup bottle had been whispering about my mother again, and the chairs were chanting again. Wilson has since built a small picket sign out of toothpicks and jam. It reads, "Know thy dairy." He refuses to share a shelf with the eggs, citing fundamental philosophical differences. Day 98, Gary the Creeper invited his colleagues over. I say invited. What I mean is, I opened the pantry, and 12 creepers in little business ties hissed politely and handed me their cards. One said, Entropy Consultant. Another, Detonations and Sons, family owned since the end of time. One was just a QR code that, when scanned, redirected to an image of me sleeping. They mingled. They discussed metrics. One of them pitched me a startup idea involving enchanted gravel and blockchain. Then they exploded. Politely. All at once. It was, according to Gary, a soft launch. I respawned in the mop bucket. Again. Day 107. The Waffle House has stopped obeying basic geometry. I walked into the pantry and exited into what I can only describe as a hallway made of syrup and passive aggression. There was a sign taped to the wall. You left the stove on. We noticed. I turned back and found the door had become a booth. Inside was a version of myself from day 12, flipping hash browns and muttering about performance reviews. I tried to leave. The jukebox blared Eye of the Tiger, but in minor key, accompanied by the sound of Yog laughing in Excel formulas. I left through the fryer. I think I'm pregnant with spite. Day 123. They came at dawn, wearing glistening golden helmets and boots enchanted with feather falling and unholy malice. Wilson tried to warn me. He tapped out a code in Croissant crumbs the night before, but I thought he was just shedding again. The chickens formed ranks, synchronized flapping, divine poultry ballet. The leader, a massive hen with glowing red eyes and a monocle, squawked a command. The jukebox played the opening bars of Ride of the Valkyries. I launched pancakes. They deflected them with shields made of hardened yoke. Gary tried to negotiate. He was immediately egged. I am now holding the line inside the walk-in fridge. The milk has turned. The syrup bottle is missing. Wilson has been promoted to Field Marshal. I fear he is enjoying this. Day 134. HR Performance Review. Yog-Sothoth Edition. Received a glowing scroll today via Lava Courier. Singed my eyebrows just by looking at it. Inside was a performance improvement plan. From Yog, written entirely in Comic Sans.
Hey there, champ. Looks like morale's at an all-time low and synergy is down since the chicken uprising. We're gonna need to see more initiative in your conflict de-escalation skills.
Attached, a motivational poster of a cat dangling from a nether fence with the caption,
Hang in there, or else.
Wilson looked at it, then turned to me and whispered, "Burn it." I did. The scroll screamed, then respawned on my bed, which exploded again. Day 172. Wilson stood atop a milk crate and announced the arrival of the Drizzle Epic. I asked what that meant. He said, "The syrup chooses now," then proceeded to butter himself ceremonially while chanting in what I can only describe as flaky Latin. The waffle iron started glowing. The jukebox played Ave Maria backwards. Gary built a shrine out of half-melted chairs. The chickens observed silently. They know. Oh gods, they know. I tried to restore order by declaring a waffle constitution. It immediately caught fire and whispered, "Too late." Day 213. A yoke lawyer arrived. Wore a tie. Spoke in depositions. Allegations include unauthorized scrambling, poetic neglect, and metaphysical shell cracking. Yog sent me a voicemail. "Hey there. Legal issues are growth opportunities. Just synergize your way to conflict resolution, McKay." I printed it out. I used it as a doormat. The doormat gave me a paper cut that bled metaphor. Wilson hasn't spoken in days. Only puffs steam. The milk has curdled into the shape of a courtroom sketch. I think I'm losing. I don't remember what, but I'm losing. Day 254. Wilson. I lost him today. The croissant, the butter was too slick. The steam vents too high. One moment he was napping on the window ledge and the next, the wind caught his little cocktail umbrella and carried him into the open lava. I ran. I screamed. I launched a pancake as a lifeline. It sank. I waded ankle deep into molten grief, watching his flaky body twirl gently in the thermals. He looked so calm, so smug, so buttered. I reached for him. He rotated slightly and whispered, "You should have used real dairy." Then he was gone. The syrup bottle began playing a mournful hum through the cap. The jukebox shuffled itself to "Everybody Hurts." Gary offered me a hug and exploded from emotional overload. I now sit alone, whispering Wilson's name to the waffle iron. It hisses back, "You were never his first baker. I am unmade." Day 365. I received a scroll today via Lava Courier, wrapped in infernal ribbon. Smelled faintly of condescension and expired cologne. It was from Yog. The scroll unrolled itself midair, projected a holographic Yog-Sothoth in khakis. and said,
Hey, buddy, so funny thing. Looks like we accidentally had you set to creative mode this whole time. Wild, right? Human Resources is super sorry. We're gonna have to reset the whole shindig. Day zero, ground zero, all that jazz. Anyway, let's debrief next quarter, McKay.
Creative mode. For 365 soul-eroding days, I have made waffles with my bare pixelated hands. I have fought chickens wearing enchanted armor. I watched Wilson, the last croissant I loved, drift into lava while whispering betrayal. And I could have flown. I could have summoned a blight storm of cosmic judgment. I could have built a waffle mech. Instead, I buttered in silence. I did not reply. Instead, I built. The Waffle House rumbled. Walls folded inward. Chairs fused into engines. The syrup bottle howled in tongues. The jukebox played a very needed Ave Marie send-off. I found Yog idling by the condiment shelf, humming like nothing happened. He turned, smiled, raised a mug.
So, we're good, yeah?
I expeditiously shackled him to the drive-thru with a leash woven from burnt HR policies and cursed printer ink. He protested.
This isn't agile. This isn't team-led deliverable alignment.
I climbed to the helm of the Waffle House. Wilson, I imagine, would have proudly stood beside me, his butter glistening like war paint. I faced the horizon, a lava fall that roared with the screams of forgotten gods and overcooked hash browns.
Where are we going?
Yog whimpered. I turned to him, voice steady, tentacles still. I stayed alive, Yog. I kept breathing. And one day the logic was proven all wrong because the tide came in and gave me a sail.
Cthulhu, buddy. Hey. This has been a great training exercise. 5 stars all around, but you know you're not Tom Hanks from Castaway, right? This is getting kinda dangerous. And it's just a game, man. If you could, stop this, that would be great.